I move on to martial arts, like in now like Muay Thai in specific. Then I realized that it's not about the technicalities, it's not about the ability to fight or the physical attributes that make you learn from martial arts, but rather the mental attributes. And that is something in relation to my life where when I was caught into a corner, I really needed to keep my guts up and just keep staying, and then don't drop until I found the right window of opportunity. Then I slipped out of it. Then I continued the fight.
Hi, my name is Kai Chan, a financial consultant, creator, and your host of the Creative Heart Show. In today's episode, I chat with Jay Ng, a senior financial services professional with past experiences in the media business. We talked about being grounded in your whys in life while learning how to tune out social pressures, as well as diving deep into the hard topic of putting down one's ego and owning your criticisms. This awesome dude is also my best friend. Enjoy the show. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Creative Heart. Special guest again today is my longtime brother from another mother.
How many years? What was it, man? 2000 and
2009, 2010.
010, 09, 010, I think.
09, 010.
Oh, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
That's the thing that everybody's saying now, right?
I don't know about his friends, but definitely most of my friends don't know that I had a very tiny little cheerleading background, but I'm always on the bench, just go there and but yeah, that's how I actually got to know him during cheerleading.
Came and do PT with us every time. And water
PT,
break with us.
So it's not the not that kind.
Different kind.
Yeah. So we've actually known each other way back, and he's seen the highs and lows in my life, how I've actually grown through those challenges, and I've also witnessed his own share of thin and fat challenges and all that. Not literally fat, but challenges in life and all that, and how he's actually grown into a much stronger person that I know today. I mean, we're both actually still in the stage whereby we're still figuring our lives out and things like that. He might disagree with what I'm about to say, but I do feel that with his experiences, he does have actually very, very valuable experiences and insights that I hope that I think our audience and listeners will actually get some value from it. Yeah. So before we actually go deep into what we're actually going to be talking about today, first off, you might be wondering why he's actually drinking this yellow liquids, and I'm actually drinking coffee. That's because my bro here loves whiskey. So special request. So yeah, that's what you get here on the Creative Heart. So if you have a passionate story to tell or anything like that, you want to come onto the Creative Heart, just make a special request. Whether it's actually whiskey, wine, whatever, I'll try to make it happen. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so bro, so for the people who are listening, we have yet to actually get to know you. If you could actually give us a quick rundown of, first I want it to be a POV instead of just through my lens, right?
Yeah.
POV, just for context, your origin story, if you could actually just unpack a little bit for us.
Origin story. Okay, I'm Jay. I come from a family of, I have 3 other siblings. I have 3 sisters. I'm the youngest spoiled kid in the family. Only boy. I am a financial consultant, like Kai. I've been a financial consultant for 6 years. 6 years going 7 this year. It's my first job. I joined the Industrial Army. Yeah.
I just recall something very interesting.
What, that you're my agent?
Besides that, no. The fact, I think, because I was actually still trying to get my because you need to at least have a permanent residence in Singapore, and my background is that I was actually Malaysian.
Yeah.
I think there was this period whereby you actually started first as an agent before me.
Yeah.
I was still undergoing training, and in fact it was an internship, and then he actually started first.
Yeah. So actually Kai got in touch with the industry earlier than me. But because I was in army and everything, but because his citizenship took a while and everything, so he was already going through training, but he couldn't officially become an agent yet. So eventually, I think we started about the same period. Yeah. But I still got my I still got my first plans from you when I was in army.
Actually,
My savings and hospital plans.
yeah, but refresh my mind a little bit again. How did you actually
get into
have
the
any
industry?
interest? Yeah.
Oh, I remember the story very clearly. So, as I just mentioned, that I got my savings plan and hospital plan from Kai. So back then, I was 21. I was very concerned about like how am I gonna face the world when I finish my army, going out. Everybody says like you're 21 now, you're an adult. So like I was very worried lah, being somebody in Singapore.
Right.
It's super tough to be in Singapore in terms of like finance. Like you really need to know what you want and what you want to do.
So sorry. Let me try to get the timeline right. You got the plans from me.
Yeah, I got a plan from you when I was in my second year of national service. I got my. I remember exactly. when it
okay.
was. Yeah. So like I was a cadet in specialist cadet school, and then I was wondering like what I was gonna do. I turned 21, and there was the period where I was very worried about like what am I gonna do because like I didn't study. My grades were okay, never mind. And then like so I decided to get hospital plan from you first because like I read online about it and I realized that that's the most important thing. So I got that first, even though like 11B covered me, but I wanted to make sure that I was eligible to buy lah. I didn't want to wait then later if I got any health conditions then next time I cannot buy. So I bought it. Then I also got my savings plan because I was very worried about the whole like I'm not a good saver when it comes to money, so I wanted to start on something. Yeah, so I got my savings plan. So what eventually happened that led me to joining the industry is because I got my savings plan. So back then I was very perplexed. I was like, oh, a savings plan back then was like minimally $75 a month. I was like, $75 damn easy. It's like how much only? Some people's cell phone bill is already $75. So like I got my own. Then eventually I talked to some friends in SES. So I was like, hey bro, you got go clubbing one? Then they're like, yeah. And I was like, so averagely all in all one night, how much do you spend per session? Then they're like, maybe like 100 or 200. Sometimes it's open bottle 300. Then I'm like, bro, have you ever considered like going one session lesser per week? Then you put that money somewhere that it can grow. Then next time you have like a lump sum of money to take out. It was like, oh cool, what's that about? So I told them, 25 years, blah 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 blah. Then eventually they went on to either find you or went to find my other friends. Their own friends to go and buy. Then you ask me like, have you ever thought of being an agent before? Yeah, but my answer to you was sell. I will never do sales, okay? You ask me sell thing. You don't pay me per hour high enough, I'm not gonna work for you.
And then
eventually I became an agent.
But how?
No lah, it was because like I mentioned, like I didn't study very hard in school, so I had very limited choices. So I wanted to study a double diploma in University of Buffalo. Right. So I went online and checked the school fees. Then I realized it's 60 fucking thousand. Okay. Then like my parents are old because I'm the last kid, and my age gap from my parents is quite far apart. Right. So I'm like,
screw it.
Yeah. Then like my dad is kind of semi-retired. He was driving a taxi at that point of time. Like him like being able to drive to feed me at his age, to me I'm very grateful for that really. So I decided, oh fuck that, I'm not gonna go study anymore lah. Okay. Let me just go out and earn some money. Then eventually, if I'm still interested to study the curriculum, then I can pay for my own to go and study at night. What lah? Okay.
Yeah. Hang on. I mean, even though you actually put it that way, I'm sure there's actually more reasons than just like you considering this career itself possibly is something that you actually wanted to try. Was there anything like, okay, first question, back in your childhood, right, you've done some part-time last time?
Yeah, I've
anything
done
that
a lot
actually,
of kind of
have anything to do with sales, anything like that you thought that, hey, it's not totally out of my spectrum to even try this as a career?
Actually, to think about it, every kind of career out there is a form of sales. And of course, if relating to my own experience, my part-time jobs, actually the jobs that I've had is quite closely related to sales, because when you're young and you're inexperienced, what job can you get? possibly other than like half of them are sales related. The other half of it is either like waitering and banquet and stuff like that. The other half are scams.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I worked as I sold school uniforms at this school uniform shop under my house. Like there was the block next to it. It's called Yang Zhijiang. Yeah, so I was a front, like a counter staff lah. Like I didn't really sell, more like they told me what they want. I go fetch the stuff, and I answered some questions about sizing and stuff like. So in a way that is still like kind of related to sales. Yeah. Then the other one that I think that is directly related to sales, I worked as a new urban mail staff. So I was selling like tank tops and t-shirts. So there will be promo. So that's like directly related to sales. Yeah. Other than that, sales related actually not much.
When you were actually considering the career, was it really like the top, the biggest question that you were actually thinking about is, was it like whether you could actually make it in sales, or was it some other reasons that you thought that might actually be able to feed you the kind sort of like the courage to like try to even learn about sales? Because why I'm actually mentioning this is because like what we actually mentioned earlier, we've known each other since the cheerleading days.
Yep.
And when you were in cheerleading, right, you were actually being put in like very good positions to actually lead a team, or you kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, assisted like some of the coaches to actually, because you were the captain, right?
Yeah.
So were like those years some of the things that that came across your mind that, hey, maybe because I have some experience. Of course, it's not directly linked to sales, but I always believe that leadership is a very good quality to even have in sales, because you are basically leading your clients. Was it some of the were they some of the things that actually came across your mind if you were to go back?
Surprisingly, thinking about it, actually no lah.
So you just went head on that. Okay.
I didn't really relate to cheerleading for any of my career validations. Like to me, especially now, like cheerleading is just part of a physical interest that I had at a point of time. Yeah. Then I was just showering today. I was just thinking about it. Actually, I don't think I was that interested in cheerleading, because if you have passion for something, it would have developed over time and it would have stayed with you. But for me, but for me, it was purely a phase for me. Like I think that I was there because of it gives me a sense of belonging to a group, something that I yearned for, a team, at that point of time. So I managed to find that with my colleagues now, like my own team. So I don't think that has anything to do with my career choice. I think back then my career choice was hugely based on validation. Something that I needed was confidence to join the industry. So one huge source of confidence and validation was actually from you, because like after I spoke to my friends in army and they came looking for you, then after that you told me, have you actually thought of being an agent? To me it was like, oh, okay. You being an agent asked me whether I actually have thought of being an agent, and I'm pretty sure that at that point of time, like you weren't just asking me out of
I wasn't. Now that I actually try to recall back, right, actually a lot of it, I guess it's a very meta thing, because like the reason why I actually asked you the question just now about leadership and all that was exactly my thoughts back then when I was actually asking whether have you actually thought of actually joining the career. Because if I were to recall back in those cheerleading days, like what I was actually mentioned earlier, I was most of the time on the bench, although I actually helped out with the team a little bit, but I remember very vividly that you always kind of take the initiative to engage with each and every single one of us, and that's why I thought that when you were, especially you were kind of like trying to figure out your career direction at that point of time. So to me, it's very natural that I say, hey, I think that quality that I've actually seen in you would actually be useful in this career. So to me, that's the very reason why I actually asked that.
I think for me, it was always about like, I'm especially interested in the people who come and join an industry or an activity which although they are being left on the bench or the sideline, and they never give up. Like time and session over and over again, they continue to come. I think that shows me something that is something that I realize that is very important in whatever you do in the future, which is to have heart for something. You know, when you have heart for something, it's not about whether you get a limelight, it's not about the medals, it's not about the recognition and all. But when you have heart for something, you will just do it. Like, you just do it because you want to, not because like you do it because you want to gain something from it. You just do it because you feel like it, and I think that's very important. Like, if we can identify activities and things that we want in life that we can do with our heart, that is something that will give you the longevity in the future, that you will always be happy, and I think that's something that is really worth focusing on. Yeah, so going back to, like I was telling you, that I realized that cheerleading was just a phase for me. I asked myself, like, how come like it's something that I did so intensively for years last time, and like just like almost like a snap, and I stopped doing it because I went to army and all, and I was never interested in it like ever again. Like, even when people tell me, come and join this competition, overseas. Like, I've never competed overseas before. So to me, competing overseas should have been something that is like a huge recognition and a huge honor for me. But I was never interested. Then I realized that, you know, I was doing it because like I found my identity in this group, my friends are in this group, so I never wanted to lose that identity until it was taken away from me when I went into the army. So that forced a change in me. Like a change to look deeper into myself and ask myself, what do I really want? And back then, what I really want was a career. And I think that things that you want might not stay the same forever, because at different stage and situations of our lives, we require different things. So back then, cheerleading was something that I no longer needed, because by then my friends were already my friends, cheerleader or not. You know, and back then I needed a career, because sadly in Singapore, no money, no talk. So yeah, I wanted to develop myself more of a profession and more of a career. So yeah.
So essentially, I mean, you mentioned earlier, if I were to able to actually piece it right, there was a phase where you actually needed the connection with the group that you actually were yearning for, and when, like, because the connection has been formed, and most of us were, like, you know, pretty much your good friends at that point of time. So you were able to actually focus on more important things in like the next phase of your life, kind of thing. Okay, cool. It's a very nice segue that now that you're actually talking about, you know, this phase, and then now you were at a point whereby you're trying to figure out, you know, your career, because most of us will just come out and want to actually, you know, go into something that is, you know, readily most available for us, whether we are really interested in it or not. Most of us, purely because of the income, to actually want to actually make a living. Personally, I also feel that, you know, it's very important for us to always, at least for myself, to always kind of protect my mindset, and always remind myself that it's important to continue to pursue something that fulfills myself. You know, to actually, even the first thing that you actually come across may not necessarily be something that you fall absolutely, you know, head over heels with in terms of a job, but like, you know, the mindset of continue to, like, you know, not willing to give up, not willing to settle. You know, I mean, what I'm saying is that work on the first job, because, you know, it actually gives you what you need in terms of income, but continue to figure out, instead of just settling into that job and then just forgo you know, even the thoughts about like what you even like kind of fulfills you, what you're interested in, kind of thing.
Wow, I think this is a very tricky question to me.
Why then?
Like,
thoughts?
I've always compared myself to my peers in secondary school. In specific, that I have this good friend. He is from my secondary school, is my client as well. So he has always been a star in school all the way until now. So he was a badminton captain in secondary school. He was a sports council member. Then actually, eventually, when I went to poly, I wanted to study aerospace science, aerospace engineering. So I didn't even put that in my choice, because my family obviously knows that I'm not a study type. So they told me that, you know, in order for you to succeed in this course, you need to be the cream of the crop. So why not choose something that is not so niche, choose something more generic so that, you know, if you don't do so well, you still can go do other stuff, which turned out to be true lah. So so he actually got into aerospace engineering. So he doesn't know this, even until now I don't think, but I've always envied his academic success and now his career success lah. So he went on to study aerospace engineering. Then I was never exactly very close to him because he was a very academic guy in secondary school. I'm the right opposite, you know. So, but we have always been like kind of okay friends until in poly when he really did very well in aerospace engineering and he went overseas for an exchange. So I was very happy for him. I was very proud of him. So I went forward to connect with him when he was over in the US. So what we would do is we would go on, back then it was Skype, I think. Yeah, so we went on Skype. So like I would just be very curious, like what's he doing there? So he would show me around his room. I would tell him about what am I doing in Singapore and stuff. Then we really connected and we realized that hey, actually we hit out as pretty good friends, you know. But why did we never ever talk last time in the past, you know? So we became very good friends ever since. So after that, moving on, he got a scholarship and now he's working at a government related job. I'm not gonna name the company's name, but like he has a very good job lah. So basically he secured a scholarship. After he finished his study, he secured a job. So he got a job even before he graduated, you know. So I've always wondered, like I don't think he actually loves his job. I'm pretty sure he loves a certain aspect of his job, but I don't think he loves his job. And being in a job that is so demanding doesn't leave you much time for further like self-improvement and exploration. But I've always wondered, like, say if you are okay with your job and you are happy with the pay, it gives you a lifestyle in Singapore. I think that is something that actually a lot of us might choose if we are given that choice. Because we live in Singapore, yeah, like a lifestyle and finance stability is a very big thing in Singapore because everything is expensive here. Like I love Singapore. I must put out there that I love Singapore. I don't have much complaints about Singapore except for the weather. Like I just really cannot stand the heat. But other than that, I love Singapore. I think things are well regulated here. It's clean. We have a pretty much clear system here, which you want to do this, you go this way. I mean, it's not 100% clear, but compared to other countries, we are pretty damn clear, you know. So I love that, but the only one condition, not a downside, but a condition that you must be able to live with is like the kind of spending that we must do here. So given a job like that versus something that I think I can go on and explore, if I were to go back in the past, I might have told myself, you know, go for the road where you have the money, live their lifestyle for maybe 10 years, save good money, and then go do something that you really love, you know, rather than, because if there's one thing that I realized that is very hard to learn over the years, has nothing to do with academics, has nothing to do with skills. I realized that the one thing that is hard to learn about is yourself. Because you are ever changing.
In fact,
according,
that's the most important thing to learn.
Yeah, you are ever changing according to the stage of life that you are in. That you can never fully learn yourself fast enough. Because you're always adapting. It depends on the people that you are around with. It depends on the place that you're working at. It depends on the situation that you are being put in at that point of time. So I think that's the number one thing that is hard to learn. And to throw yourself out there without money, without experience, without knowing yourself well, without anything, to just tell yourself that, you know, go and swim, go and learn about yourself, go and learn about the whole world. I think that's one of the toughest things to do.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for people to really execute over a long time because, I mean, saving money takes years. Working on a stable job, I mean, to save money takes years, and during those years, if let's say, for example, you have no avenue or no room to, you know, spend some time to work on things that makes you tick. A lot of people, after even 2 to 3 years already, you will just settle into whatever you have actually decided on the first place and kind of like forgotten, you know, what you originally love doing.
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot of people eventually get comfortable, and they cling on to a lot of materialistic spendings and lifestyle that they are no longer able to reach the 10th year mark, which we realize that I saved enough money already. It's time for me to go explore the world for myself. Because like a lot of us that is working in a concrete jungle, we go into, even for myself, I'm guilty of that. Like in my first year, I go out to work in the concrete jungle in the finance world, I see all the flashy cars, I see the branded belts, the wallets, then you always have this mindset being drilled in you, is that a guy needs to have a good watch, a guy needs to have a good belt, a guy needs to have a good, and then you realize that there is never a good enough. Because once you have reached this level, somebody will come along and telling you that, hey bro, you hit this goal already, time to go for this other goal. Then you tell myself, okay, this is moving forward, this is progressive, this is actually very good, but you're just being a donkey being fed by a carrot.
Correct.
And it's gonna be the carrot the whole time, But I've seen also people that they really know what they want. They have achieved the self-exploration. They know about themselves earlier in their lives, and they tell, then they realize that okay, I'm gonna do this job that I hate, that sucks, but teaches me something.
Right.
For 10 years, I'm gonna save X amount of money, and I'm gonna blah 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 blah. There is a part 2 planned for their life, but for a lot of us, even like kind of ourselves in relation, like we're just like, okay, I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna see where this goes. And then there is another group of us that I'm gonna see how this goes, and then it never goes anywhere. They just become a hamster on the wheel that they just keep running and running and running, because they have committed themselves to so many things that they think that they cannot afford to lose, but it doesn't even make them happy. It's just like, oh, I need to keep this car because. Yeah.
So now, if you were to look back, right, our early years, when comparing to your early years of your career, seeing all these flashy things that that you were actually saying about, how did that impact you mentally in terms of your wellness?
I'm glad to say that it didn't affect me that much, because since young, I am not a person to be that interested in like branded stuff. Like, I don't really. I think I have never walked into a branded boutique and bought something before. I'm pretty lucky to say that, like, small stuff like I can even call. I have a Mont Blanc card holder and a Mont Blanc pen, courtesy from two of my very good friends, Justin and Jane, because I started in this career and they thought that a card holder and a pen would be useful to me, which I keep until today. So that's something. I have a Ferragamo tie and a Ferragamo card holder from this other friend called Jia Wei. Also because I started on this career and it was my birthday, so he thought it would be very nice for me to have something that is good looking on me, which I keep until this day as well. Other than that, my branded stuff is like my Gucci card holder from my sister. Other than that, I've never bought anything, but I did have like phases in my life which I told myself that I want to work for a Nissan GTR. I wanted to work for a Lamborghini. I wanted to buy a Ferragamo belt. But I think one very important thing to ask yourself when you want to set this kind of goal for yourself is that, do you even love that thing that much? Do you even know that thing that much? Right. Yeah, so I asked myself, like, what do I know about GTR? So I'm like, oh, it's a famous car from Japan. It's known as the Godzilla. It's really fast. It's big. This is about it. Then I asked myself, do you know anything about Ferragamo belt? I don't know shit, man. I don't know. I mean, it looks nice, lah. It looks nice. There's a lot of counterfeits. You point out
a very good point. Actually, I share the same sentiments because, okay, last time I felt the challenge of actually articulating this, and then I actually asked myself deeper, because there was this point where I started to try to ask myself, am I actually having a thing against people who are actually into branded stuff? And then I realized that, hey, actually no. Because if you are very invested into a particular product, in the sense that if it's culture, the origins of the product and things like that, for example, whether it's actually Hermes or LV and things like that, if you're very invested into, the craftsmanship itself, I think there's no wrong.
Yeah.
Because I realized that I'm someone like that in the sense that in photography, I'm very into the make of the camera. Last time when I was very into film photography, I was very into the old lenses and things like that. Some people may feel that the money is better spent in cars and things that actually last value, but I actually feel that for me, because of my interest, it makes more sense for me to actually spend more on the lenses, for example.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the core thing is like, are you spending because of its interest, or are you spending because you want to make yourself look good and give people the expectation or their expectation that, hey, I'm actually making it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is for me.
Okay, I think there are still a group of achievers in the world where they benchmark how well they're doing by material comfort. Like there are people who actually work and tell themselves that, I'm gonna buy a Mercedes, and next I'm gonna buy a Ferrari, and then I'm gonna buy a Lamborghini, then I'm gonna retire in a Velfire, stuff like. I don't think any of that is wrong. I think different people have different ways of setting progression targets for themselves. But I think that if none of this material comfort actually gives you any kind of passion and happiness, then I think there is an issue. I think if you are I think the best and simple way to put out this idea that I've seen so far is, if you have a branded wallet but you have no money inside and you're unhappy, you're fucked. Yeah,
true.
Because I've seen quite a few rich people, like they are well-to-do, they have sports cars and all, but when I talk to them about the car, they are very passionate about it. They say, oh, this car is tailor-made, they know how much horsepower that is, they know the newest version that come out, and they can talk like half an hour, they can hold a conversation about cars. They love cars, so that's fine. But if somebody that buys a car doesn't even know that his tire is getting flat.
Yeah. And then basically anything, just throw money into it.
Yeah, like anything is fuck, throw money. Then every once in a while you maybe hear the person complaining about the car. Like, oh shit lah, this car, fuck man, you go to the workshop again. Hey, can you get a workshop guy to come down? You don't fucking love car. You just love the idea of people knowing you having this car.
Right.
And I think that's a problem. But if people like this, they have other ways of tracking their lives and they are happy, then this is just their choice of spending money. But if you spend the money and you're unhappy, then that's a problem.
Makes sense. And then after the first few years of your career, you spent a little bit of time in the media scene as well. You kind of had, at one point of time, both things going. There's definitely the glamour and the glitz that came with it. But I also know personally, even though I'm actually looking at it from us outside, I always believe that anything that it's of good work definitely requires a lot of hard work being put into it. But as an outsider looking in, I also feel that sometimes probably the glamour can actually be a very unpleasant distraction.
Double-edged.
Yeah, correct. So how do you find balancing between who you truly are, what you actually just mentioned, all that, and as well as the pressure and expectations of the media scene? Were you feeling that kind of pressure?
I think when you go into the media scene, it's easy to get lost because you realize that if you behave in a certain way, you get certain rewards, and humans are usually very driven by rewards. You know that if you behave in a certain way, you get certain things, and you want that thing, then you will behave in a certain way. But then again, it might not make you happy at the end of the day. So I think I must put it out there that I don't think I worked very hard to get a tiny bit of media attention on me.
Right.
I was lucky because I met this guy when I was in army that he eventually turned out to be a very successful YouTuber in Singapore. So I think I got lucky because of who I knew. and he spotted certain talents in me back then, which he wanted to have in his company.
Right.
So I kind of just like rode along and like in Chinese we call it like 误打误撞, and you reached a certain place without planning to go there at all lah. So I would definitely say that I didn't work hard for that. I got lucky. I simply got lucky. Yeah, But in terms of the media attention, I don't think I bothered much about media attention because I was never big enough for the media to care about me. But I did have certain times, like even until now, which I get a bit ticked off that when I go out, certain people will recognize me, and I feel like sometimes it's inevitable to feel like they are judging you, or they are just disturbing your personal day out. Like you.
What have you experienced before?
Like you see them, they see you, they call out your name like they are trying to conjure some spirit, but just not directed at you. Like, hey Kai is here. Oh, Kai, the guy
Really?
Kai. Then I don't get it often. I'm not famous enough to do it. But to me, it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, if you want to say hi,
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to say hi. If
It'll
you
be
want,
nice if they just come up to you.
yeah, if you want a photo, come to me. Hey, can I have a photo? I'll be more than happy to like do some weird faces at you,
Yeah.
But like, just don't call up to me like I'm some spirit that you cannot see but you can feel. I'm human after all. But this is something that you have to live with lah. Like, if you're willing to put your face up there in the world, you just have to know that like the internet is a funny place.
Yeah.
There are a million funny places. People in the internet, like, they might do funny things to you. So you have to know what you sign up for.
True. So you were there for 3 years?
I was there officially for about 2 years, but to say when I first got to know that friend and dabbled into that space, I think it's pretty much since 2011, 2012. 2012 lah, 2012.
I want to really zoom in and focus on, I think this was a stage whereby, again, going back to when you first started, in the insurance career, it's not that you completely stepped away when you were in the media scene. Like what I mentioned, you had both things going on at the same time. But I think as a someone who has the privilege of actually looking at, witnessing things close up, you were at a stage of figuring out like what you wanted in life. And I just wanted to ask, like, what was the kind of tough challenges that you actually have to go through, figuring out yourselves during this period of time?
Okay, one thing that I have to put up here first is that when, like I mentioned earlier, that I wanted to study after army, and when I went to check out the cost of the degree, right? So what I wanted to study was a double degree in psychology and marketing in University of Buffalo. So the difference was when so my friend actually after army, we wanted to go study together in University of London. Then after that we decided not to because he has a platform for him to potentially be big, which is YouTube. And then I also found financial consultancy as a platform for me, which I can start out my career in. Yeah, so we decided, like he told me whether you want to come join me and do a thing together, Then like back then, social media to me was just about color filters and taking photos,
Instagram, basically,
and asking my friends what to eat and posting emo stuff and just stupid teenage stuff lah. Yeah, so like I have never seen it as a money-making platform. I think like Xiaxue was one of the first few to actually realize and pave the way for like future influencers and all, So I told him no lah. Then I told him, bro, you go and do your stuff. I go and do my stuff. 1 year later, we meet back again. Then we see how this goes. So 1 year later, we really met back, and he has created quite a big amount of progression in his way. I have also created quite a big progression in my financial career. So, but then again, we decided to come together because back then, I was having some friction with my agency. There was some difference in in opinions. Yeah. So to me, it's like, fuck, it's not making me happy anymore. I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just gonna see what the world has to offer for me because I'm young, you know. So I dabbled into social media, and I only did servicing for the current clients because to me, like, the clients have helped me to succeed in my first year, so I will continue to service them lah. But when it comes to like new business and new clients, I completely stopped. Like, I completely stopped. So I went into social media. I was happy there, but you know, there always comes to these problems where my parents will ask me, so how much is this job paying you? And I'm unable to come out with an answer because both jobs that I had no stable income.
Right.
Then when she asked me, 你做有吗? Then parents don't ask your kids this kind of question 你做有吗? Then what, you 做有 say also wrong, 做 say 没有 also wrong. What ask the question is
difficult
stupid
to
one.
answer them. It's difficult to answer them, but also
you don't want to worry them.
Yeah.
So I will always say,
yeah, and it makes sense that they are asking as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So I will always say, 做有 but it still worries them because when you tell them 做有, parents know that you 做没有, you are not doing that well. Parents know because you come out from their tummy, you know. Then like, I also feel bad for worrying them, but at the same time, I'm not somebody that like, I wouldn't say I'm somebody that's very strong-willed lah, but I'm somebody that is not weak in terms of like my mind as well. So I don't want to give in and say, 做没有啦, I'll go and find another job, you know, kind of thing. So I think that was something that I really struggled with, like something I always ask myself, is this social media thing something that I can really do or not? Especially when people ask me like, what do you want to be in the future? You know, I choke up on that. Like, I don't know, like, this social media thing, what am I gonna be in 10 years time? Like, is there a specific role to it? Is there a specific position to it? That's something that I don't know how to answer people on, which is something that in retrospective view, like, I realize that it's something that I lack of. Like, I wait for society to give me something instead of creating something for myself. Like my friend that is a YouTuber, I'm pretty sure back then, like maybe 10 years ago, when you ask him like, what are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to be 10 years later? I don't think back then in the industry there was no term for it.
Right.
Yeah, you know. But right now there is a term for it. You are a content creator. You are a CEO of a social media company. So that is something that I couldn't envision, but he envisioned for himself because he continued to put out the work. It's something that he continued to develop for himself. It's something that he knew that he wanted to be. He knew he wanted to be boss. So boss is CEO lah,
right?
You know, but for me last time was like, this social media thing next time remains a thing. Like, what is it gonna be?
I guess to be fair, it was very new back then.
Yeah.
And not even social media industry specifically. Like if that question, if it was being thrown at anybody, talking about any industry at all, like what do you want to do ultimately, it's always very difficult. It's a very difficult question for most of us in our 1920s, or even now for a lot like 30s and 40s. Like, even if you ask me right now, do I really know my direction? I would say no, because like so recently I actually came across this piece of advice whereby your direction will only be clearer once what you mentioned just now, continue to put out the work that you want to do.
Yeah, like, I fully agree with that. I think the only way that you can find out more about yourself and find out where you should go is to do something.
Yeah.
If like, I think there are so many people that say that I'm in a comfortable spot now and I don't know where to go. They don't realize that it's because exactly you are comfortable and you are not doing anything anymore. Like, you're just continuing what you have to do, and that's why they are lost.
Correct.
So when you tell them do something different, then they resist the change.
Yeah.
But yet they complain that I'm lost.
And a lot of us, I guess, when we were brought up, we were some kind like sort of. I don't know whether it is outside voice or anything, but I have the impression that we have been given the impression that in life you have to kind of somehow figure out the map before you even walk it. The reason why I'm actually saying this is because I'm about to give an analogy. Okay, to be very frank, the last PC game that I've ever really played, is Dota. Okay?
I never really played Dota.
Like, really, okay? But not to the point of that I really dabble into cyber cafes and things like that.
He never had a chance at a $7 million thing,
right? But what I'm actually saying is that you don't know the map. It's all black. Besides whatever you actually see immediately around you. And you will only see the direction and basically, have a good sense of the idea itself when you dare to go about and explore. And that's what I'm actually saying, because like the thing in life is that you kind of people kind of will tell you that you have to figure out a direction, in the sense that there's already a certain map. You just have to figure out which map you want to take on. But actually, I feel that life doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
Like we think that it is that way, but actually it's really uncharted territories for every single one of us.
Yeah. I think for those of you out there that is lucky enough to have a map to realize what you want earlier, like, congrats to you.
Which may change also.
Yeah. I've known this guy that he was in the army. Then after being in the army, he decided that he would join the police. Then he joined the police for a few years. Then he decided to be a photographer. Then after being a photographer for a few years, decided to join hotel customer service. Yeah. So I think that's a perfect example of somebody who thought that he found a map of what he wanted earlier, and then things changed.
Right.
I also know a guy that used to be a pastor. Then after some tragic events in his life, he decided to join the US Navy. And then now he became an event coordinator. Now all these people have like huge changes in their career choices. Yeah, so these are situations that you are being put in your life that you didn't ask for, and then you decide to change. But I think the whole thing about, like, you're supposed to figure out where you want to go before you go next, is, I don't know whether is it a Singaporean thing, or is it an Asian parent thing, or is it just a thing that I'm not too sure. But like, I think that comes out of love. Yeah, like, if you were to tell me that, like, today you are going to be, you decide that you want to try to be an astronaut. So of course, out of love and being a friend, I will tell you that, Kai, you should go and plan now. I know how to go and learn. Then you blah 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 blah. Eventually, how to end up on the fucking moon. Like, that's something that people do out of love. But that might not necessarily be the correct thing or the good thing. But it's something that I'm telling you, hoping to give you an advantage. That's something that we do for everyone.
Right.
Anything. Like, you tell me you want to cook Leslie's KFC, I tell you go and see Leslie's KFC recipe, right. Then you see you do like that, then eventually you get the chicken rice. But like, maybe you have a recipe that if you were to do it yourself, then you realize that you can cook better than his recipe, you never know, but we do it out of love. Right. And that is something that is there lah. It's a good and bad thing, but everything is about exploring yourself.
Yeah, and it's a thing like we do that out of love, out of concern, because we want to actually see, like, a close friend of ours or family or relative to actually win in life, to do well. Yeah. But it's also a danger, because like it's precisely such things that we are kind of like, that we actually do out of love. When it comes to ourselves, we do it to ourselves too, and that kind of like gives you like unnecessary stress, in the sense that, how come I can actually help my friend that I can actually do out of love and give him such advices, that it comes to me like, when I take the same framework, like then it becomes like, suddenly I give myself the kind of stress that I don't know what I ultimately want and what is the game plan. And that's what I think we were actually talking about, in terms of like this whole thing about life works in such a way that it's actually literally uncharted territory. Like, do the first step and the subsequent steps, and like kind of figuring out the way is the only way. Right? And I just recently at least for myself, at this life stage right now, it clicks with me the most. I'm still also not sure whether it is really ultimately true, but at least it keeps me going.
I think the only way to move forward is actually to move forward. Yeah, like after several years of life, in a sense, like I finished army, I come out to work. You know, this. Okay, essentially for a Singaporean guy, when you finish army, you come out to work. That's the start of your actual life. It's like before army, you are on a trial period, you know, and after the army, you are a subscriber. You are paying for life. You are like every action that you do is detrimental or beneficial for you. Like you're no longer on trial mode, you know. So what I realized so far is like I've achieved certain things, I've lost certain things. I wouldn't say I'm doing well, I'm doing bad right now, but I realized that, you know, the only way for you to ever make a change in your life is to actually get your ass moving. Yeah, like there were also I think about 1 or 2 years of my life that I got so sick of this losing and winning thing that I just put a pause on everything. You know, I just stuck to like other detrimental hobbies like drinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just decided to put a hold on everything. Like I no longer had the confidence to do anything. I'm just like fuck everything. I'm just gonna stop everything. Nothing makes me happy anymore. So I'm just gonna stop everything. And then
how were you feeling at that point of time? Like,
I think I was feeling really low on confidence and really, really lost.
okay.
Like I no longer am confident of telling anyone what I'm good at. And not only because I'm not confident, but I legit have no idea when somebody asks me what are you good at. Like I like.
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm good at, you know, at that point of time. And
were you also going through a stage whereby there were instances where you actually performed well at something? A friend of yours actually complimented you, but you doubted yourself at the same time.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like I've people like even my own girlfriend like Charlotte telling me that, you know, I'm actually pretty good at this. Then I'll be like,
are you sure?
Are you sure? You're fucking kidding me. Nah, I'm not good at it. Or I have people like long-time friends like Chinny coming to ask me for career advice. Like I'm looking for a career change. I thought that you would be a good guy to talk to. My first immediate response, like, how the fuck am I a good guy? Like, are you serious? Like you know, right, that I'm drinking now. Like I just feel in a business. Like I have no idea what I want to do. Like, why am I a good guy to talk to? Then she told me that exactly because not everybody have the courage to go through a career high and low and walk out of it and, you know, take a break now and decide what he wants to do next. Not everybody is lucky enough to go through that. That's exactly why I wanted to speak to you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Her perspective literally kicked you out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I was like, oh, okay, that's a new way to look at it.
Right.
Don't know whether you are being a sadist or what, but like, okay, I will answer your questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So I eventually answered like all of the questions lah, and then from there I realized that, you know, this is a quote that I saw online also, like, when you start from zero, you are not literally starting from nothing again, but this time you are starting with experience. So that is something that really helped me change my perspective, and I realized that everything is about perspective. And if there's one thing that my girlfriend always tells me is that everything is about perspective. You know, like I always admired her for her career progression and how she's so tenacious at getting the things that she wants. She's very good at knowing what she wants, what makes her happy, and how to path a way to getting what she wants. So she always tell me, like, it's all about the mindset, it's all about the perspective, it's all about knowing the grind to get to what you want. Like, you can always get what you want, but it's always about being willing to grind to where you want. You know, where did that come from? Yeah. So I always realize that, you know, if you can switch it's easier said than done. But if you can switch your perspective to tell yourself that, you know, you want something, you cannot tell yourself that this is out of reach. But you must tell yourself, how do I get there?
Right.
Like as cheesy as it sounds, it's damn fucking true. Like if one day you think about let's say something that is realistic, a Mercedes, a brand new Mercedes in Singapore, like to maybe you and me now thinking about it, it's not a good financial choice. It's a bit far-fetched. I don't need that car. But what if we say that today that we die must get that car? Say if one day we don't get this car, something bad happens to us, something bad, just a random hypothetical thing, something bad happens to us, then we must start thinking, how do we get to this car? But if we can have this mindset for everything, like if one day I wanna help my parents retire at age 60, then you tell yourself, how can it be? I cannot even secure my own 3 meals and pay my own handphone bill, water bill, all this, and get a house for myself in Singapore. How am I supposed to retire my family? But there are people out there that have successfully retired their parents at 60, so in Singapore. So what the hell do you mean that I can't do that? But
of course,
I mean, excluding those people that reach back on, they figured their way out there.
Right.
So it's actually all about perspective and whether you really want to reach that.
And what you actually essentially want.
Yeah,
I feel so. I feel that, you know, to really bring value, what I want to go is to one step a bit further, which is you know, dabble, let's stick with that period when you're really trying to figure out, you know, out of that stage that you regain back your confidence. Because I feel that right now, as a close brother, you are much in better shape right now to actually, you know, pursue what you love down the road. Even though, you know, I've been a friend, we have other close friends who have actually been by your side to actually give support and things like that. But if you were to recall back, right, what was it, like how did you manage to, what step did you take essentially to kind of like regain back your self-confidence? Was there anything specific that you can actually think of?
I think I don't think there is any specific step that I took, like going for a course or anything, you know.
Non-tangible steps, but
yeah. But I think if there's one thing that I did that helped me was to put my ego down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think being somebody that has gotten a bit of success in his careers before. In my career before, and getting a bit of the glamour and the glitz in the social media scene. So I always found it a necessity to upkeep my image, to upkeep my successful image, that I don't think I can ever look weak or look unsuccessful, or to say that this round I lost. You know? Like, so I think I really put myself out there to my friends sometimes to just say that, oh, I'm not doing well. Once you are able to come to terms to admit that you lost this round, you are able to focus on the next round. But if you are unable to put your ego down to say that you have some learning and some tweaking to your life to do, you can never move forward because you refuse to admit that you have something that you need to work on. And I think that is something that I struggled to do since young. Yeah, like I think I'm spoiled as the last kid, you know. Like people always say that yeah, you're the spoiled kid, right? You know, the last boy in the family. I've always said, no lah, my family don't spoil me, that kind of shit. But growing up, like later you realize that fuck, yeah, spoiled. Yeah, you know. So like in secondary school, I have a friend that told me that, hey, you shut up and just learn to take criticism, can or not? Then to me last time I was like, wow, what you mean by I need to learn to take criticism? Like fuck you, man. And then like in a retrospective view, I realized that there's nothing wrong with learning how to take criticisms. You know, there are people who talk shit about you for nothing that you must learn to filter out. But when people say things about you that you must learn to take in, then that's where you must learn. Until this very day, I'm still learning how to take criticisms about me. Yeah. Like even sometimes my girlfriend tell me, I just tell you one thing only, why you're so defensive. Then I think, yeah, why are you so defensive? Why can't I just like absorb stuff in? Then I realized that there is literally no disadvantage when people tell you something and you process it and you really go and think whether this is something that I should be working on. But like a typical mindset would be like, hey, why you never shave your mustache? Then you think, why mustache don't look good on me, man? Why you cannot have mustache? Then means I cannot have mustache. Why? Okay. But there are stuff like that.
I like food, so.
You like the hairy stuff there. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. Then I realized that, if I put my ego down, and that really helped me to step up.
Right.
Because once you identify things that you can work on yourself, you learn how to be better at certain things, you also identify things that you are actually good. Because even when you are at your worst, the things that you are good at will still be average. So you will realize that even at your worst, there are certain stuff that you still can do pretty well. Then you realize that, hey, actually, I might actually be good at those stuff. So those are stuff that I realized that nobody is completely useless. Nobody completely sucks at everything in life. Just that they might have something like at the back of their head that they have never focused on because it doesn't make money for them, because the people around them don't support them in doing it. Then they forgot about it. They think that they are not good at it. But if they go pull out something, then they realize, hey, actually, I'm not too bad at this.
Correct.
And if they work on that more and they put in more effort, they can be like extremely good at it. Correct. You never know.
Yeah, makes sense. It's very interesting, isn't it? Like you mentioned that now looking back, you realize that you were indeed spoiled, but it is exactly your background that actually set you up in the position to even learn this lesson about being able to have the ability to even able to put your ego down, which is something that's very, very difficult.
Yeah, like I think 2 years ago, I don't even wash my own plates, no. Fuck, man. I don't wash my own clothes, no.
No, you're talking about plates, right? Dishes.
Plates, clothes. I don't do any shit, man. I have a very loving mother, so she's a lot of boys out there, y'all watch this, y'all better sing a bit and know what y'all are doing. But my mom is a full-time housewife. So 2 years ago, I had a quarrel with her and I moved out of home. So from there, I stayed with my girlfriend. Then starting, she washed my clothes for me. Then later she said, you learn how to wash yourself. Then I went to wash myself lah. Then I did every stupid mistake that a stupid guy there, like put colored clothes with white clothes, all that kind of shit. Then she come and tell me, hey, you never wash clothes one Then yeah, I never wash clothes, no. My mother wash one. Yeah, so like then I really look back and ask myself like, wow, I really fucking spoiled kids. Like then I think back and then I realized that my mom, like as much as she nags me, like go and clean your stuff and wash your stuff, then I don't know, because she does it for me. Like she's so fast and so good at it. Like before I even can get my lazy ass off my bed, she has done it already. So like then I'm really spoiled lah. Like I don't need like my sisters grow up already. Even if my mother don't wash the dishes, the maids wash the dishes. Because I don't wash the dishes. Then sometimes I wash the dishes and I realize that wow, actually this kind of thing very difficult to wash. Then I start to think, oh shit, man, I really don't wash stuff. Then how am I supposed to have my own house next time? How am I supposed to take care of, don't even say a kid, how am I supposed to take care of a dog next time, Then I realized, put it out there, I'm spoiled, but I'm working on it.
So how do you feel now? Like today, you are in a position that you have actually gone through all these experiences. I think at least a decade or even more.
I think I'm still a work in progress.
Right, but what are some of the things that you were to actually highlight some, you feel that these are the learnings that actually kind of put you in the position, the right position, like essentially what they always say, where you need to be in order for you to actually where you want to go. Like, what are some of the key things that if you would think back, thank goodness I actually learned some of these lessons too?
I think I'm thankful for everything that happened to me. Yeah, being able to experience career success and career lows, staying away from home, because I've never gone on study exchanges or pretty much staying out of my own house. Because like when I was growing up, my mom always tell me like don't go to your house, friends stay over for nothing, all that kind of stuff. I've never stayed in a school hostel before or anything, so like I'm really damn bloody spoiled lah. Like I just been at home and being in my safe haven for most of my life until I moved out. So like I think everything changes you lah. You just need to be daring enough to go out and experience it, and when shit happens to you, don't run. Yeah, I think when shit happens to you, don't run. Because once you run, you're not running away from shit, you're running away from a lesson. Yeah, and I think that's something that is very important. And a few years ago, I think life led me to a place where I cannot run away from shit anymore. It's so shit that you cannot run anymore. It's like, oh,
back against the wall.
Yeah, then that's where you are forced to learn. And I'm glad that I was being pushed to a corner and I really had to fend for myself. It's like boxing, you get caught to a corner, then you really need to learn how to defend yourself, And yeah, and I think in recent years I picked up another passion. Like I think after cheerleading, I never ever thought that anything would actually capture my attention. But when I move on to martial arts, like in now like Muay Thai in specific, but generally mixed martial arts, then I realized that it's not about the technicalities, it's not about the ability to fight or the physical attributes that make you learn from martial arts, but rather the mental attributes and the psychology of it, that teaches you to be a better person. Like things that I just told you, like when you're caught into a corner of a boxing ring, then you need to realize that how to put your guard up and how to slip out of it at the right time. Yeah, so that is something in relation to my life where when I was caught into a corner, I really needed to keep my guards up and just keep staying and then don't drop until I found the right window of opportunity. Then I slipped out of it. Then I continued the fight. And that is something that athletes show us in real life, that if you give in and you drop, that's the end of your game. You need to live to fight another fight. But if you can keep your guards up and find a way to survive and you slip out of it, immediately you fight again. You continue to win again, And
yeah, I believe martial arts teaches so much about that. And interesting that you're actually bringing this up right now, because to actually prepare for this podcast, I actually stalked your Instagram to try to figure out when you actually started Muay Thai.
I started
Muay Thai and then
boxing. So I think I started about 2017, right? 2017, right?
When I think before you really experienced so much.
Before, like actually maybe like half a year to a year before I had the actual meltdown in my life.
So was martial arts like the kind of outlet where you found like solace and space where you could learn, like heal yourself and kind of thing?
I think martial arts and working out was the single one strongest avenue that I had during that period. Like it was so important to me. Like I went for Muay Thai Evolve like 3 to 4 times a week. I went for like 10 kilometers kind of walk, like another 3 times a week. Like every other day to keep myself going, to keep myself hanging on was to do something physical, was to go and walk it out, or was to really go and punch it out and tie out. It wasn't about throwing a more beautiful punch. It wasn't about like learning how to take my opponent down or anything, but it was really a freedom to express myself where I needed to, where nobody would judge me, like the punching bag is not gonna tell me to get your shit together. It wasn't gonna tell me that you suck or you are good or anything. Like the punching bag was silent. The punching bag was there for me. It was something that day in, day out, lights on, lights off, I go back, is still there for me. And I found that very comforting at a point of time. Like every day I go back, I punch the fuck out of it. The next day, bro, I'm here for you. So like martial was a very important thing for me. Like it taught cheesy stuff lah, like resilience and persistence, that if you were to keep coming and doing it, tomorrow will be just a better day, so long as you continue doing it. So yeah, I think during that period of my solidarity, like when I was solo, that point of time where I pushed everyone away, it was really martial arts that helped me?
Talking about martial arts, one thing, I mean, I'm not in martial arts. I go to the gym from time to time, but talking about martial arts, one thing that I can relate a lot, and it's because of popular culture, is Ip Man. I obviously don't practice it. Who am I to actually practice Wing Chun? But I actually kind of, as probably many people would, look it up on the internet, do a little bit of reading, and yeah, I can relate when you actually say that martial arts can kind of like teach you really about aspects of life, the different aspects of life, and I think it actually played quite a huge role during that period of time.
I think martial arts actually secretly has been around me since young. So before this whole Ip Man thing actually even got famous, when I was in primary school, one of my cousins, this guy called Dave, he actually introduced me to Wing Chun.
Oh, really?
Back then already. So he was probably, he's about 10-ish years older than me. So he calls me Ah Boy lah. He's already told me that, yeah boy, I want to go and learn Wing Chun. It's from this guy called Ip Man. And I'm like, what kind of name is Ip Man? What kind of name is Wing Chun? Yeah, so he has actually told me about the lineage, everything. Then he told me about Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee was the only thing that I know about martial arts back then. Like who doesn't know Bruce Lee? So he has told me to join Wing Chun since young, but I've never done it because obviously my loving mother will not allow me to do martial arts.
Really?
Yeah, of course not. My only martial arts that I did in Sec 1 was Taekwondo because I'm in tough club. Okay? So yeah, so that's about it. Then when I went to army, I got to learn a basic what do you call that? BCCT, basic close combat training. So it was about learning to get your gun, to use the muzzle to push people backwards so that you can shoot, and like basic boxing and stuff like. Yeah, so that was one. So after that, when I went into specialist cadet school, I actually bought my own reps because the gym there had a punching bag. So I started to learn punching through YouTube.
Right.
But I stopped eventually because stupid, right? Like I punch myself, how the hell will I know whether I'm doing the correct thing or not? So eventually when years later when I dabbled in the social media scene, I got to know Maxi. So Maxi, he himself has been a martial art practitioner for years. Like he has known all kinds of martial arts, and I got acquainted to him through a birthday party on a yacht. So I started talking to him. I started telling him that, hey, I see that you've done certain martial arts, I think you're very passionate about it, and I really respect that. I really respect martial artists. Then he just told me like, bro, why you talk so much about martial arts? You obviously have a passion for it, so why not just do it? Then I say, oh, no lah, like just say only lah, I never really go and learn one lah. Then he's like, no, like if you have a love for it, you just go and do it, come and join me, come evolve, we do together. Then I was like, really ah? Then he went back and he texted me, he's like, hey bro, next month you come and find me here. So I went there, and that's how I joined Evolve, and that's how I really started Muay Thai. So I think if I were to have one person to thank for, it would be Maxi, and also Darren that used to work at Evolve. Yeah, so I always remember them until now. I still keep in contact with them. So I think like I finally got acquainted with martial arts, and my first session at Muay Thai, I was so excited. Like I gave it my all. I was so unfit, but I still give it my all. I remember like 15 minutes after training, I went to vomit.
Yeah. You still do it from time to time, right?
Yeah, I still do it. I am lazier nowadays. I don't do it as much, but it's something that I will never forget. Like it's something that something that is never forgotten. Like, I always still want to do it. I always still want to watch a 1FC fight. I'm always still keen to watch like certain sparring techniques, like how people improve, like certain ways to counter certain things. Like I'm still very interested about it lah. Yeah, but just that I need to get myself to actually doing it more.
One last question on this particular point, just out of curiosity, before we move on to the next one. Since you're still doing martial arts right now, what does your mother have to actually say about it?
No, the funny thing is last time when I was doing cheerleading, she tell me, eat more, don't exercise so much. Then
eat more, don't exercise so much.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now I fat she tell me go exercise more, ask me go punch more and run more. Mothers all like that one. But it's a true thing. Like she just asked me like, she's worried about my health lah. She asked me like, go exercise more, like cause I've been gaining weight, which I agree. Yeah, but of course like starting out when I was doing Muay Thai, when I came back with the bruises, of course she wasn't too happy about it lah. Like, tell me like, why you gonna do this kind of thing?
So now going forward, let's still put it practically. We don't talk about 5 to 10 years, that kind of thing, because like things actually change, and I believe in that. But like immediately for the next few years, foreseeable few years, what are you most excited about now? Whether it is in your career or personal growth or life in general.
What am I most excited about? I think I'm most excited about improving myself as a person and gaining some sort of financial stability, because I think I've identified certain key areas which I want to improve about myself over the past like 2 or 3 years. So like at least I'm a person that I'm very like, sometimes I'm very blur, like I don't know what's happening, like I just go with flow, like I do what I need to do, But now that situations and people around me have identified certain things about me that I think that I can work on, and it's things that I don't think I suck at, but things that I can be better at. So it's something that I'm excited to work on, because I know that it's something I can legit work on, and I know exactly how I can be better at it. So it's something worth like this being exciting for me. Yeah. So I think really self-growth, which again sounds very cheesy, but self-growth by just saying and not doing it is cheesy. But self-growth by really identifying areas and you know how to grow is something that is good.
Do you give yourself like very tangible game plans on achieving these things? Is that how you actually work, or like I'm just for the sake of actually bringing value, try to for someone who's actually maybe in the similar position, who has actually just come out of like a period of challenges and now is in a much better place in terms of like mind and things like that, trying to go forward.
I think personally for myself, I think it's good to have certain guidelines for yourself, to have very tangible goals for you to improve. For example, if you aim to save 10,000 a year, that's not a lot, but not everybody is able to do it. And if you fail to do it, it doesn't matter. You just have to continue doing it. Like somebody might not be able to save the 10K that they want, but they save the 6K out of 10K. I think that is still good work, that you deserve a pat on your back. But you just have to know that if you're not happy with the 6K, you need to continue working on it, rather than beating yourself and saying that, oh fuck lah, I didn't get the 10K, so this plan is gonna shit, I'm just gonna give up or something else. I think that's not true. That's something that I myself used to be guilty of last time, which I always tell myself that, oh, this one doesn't work out, oh fuck, I go do something else. Yeah, I think that's very important, that you change that. You fall short of something, but you continue to put in the work, because not everybody is as good at something. You might not be as good at something, but if you are willing to continue to do it, you will reach where you want to go to eventually. It's just a matter of whether you want to put in the work and realize that you can actually do it, but just like keep doing it, don't give up. And there is so many like blind positiveness going around now, where don't give up, but like nobody truly understands why don't give up. Like why? If I don't give up, where will that lead me to? Nobody says that, bro, if you don't give up now, you might not reach this place by today, but you can reach it by tomorrow. The most important thing to you is what? You reach that place, right? It doesn't matter when you reach it, right? If that's important to you, then you continue to do it until you reach it. But most people nowadays just go the easy template way of consoling and say, bro, don't give up. Then you just say, okay, don't give up. Then later 12 at night when you lie in your bed, the phone bright, but everything done, then you tell myself, why shouldn't I give up? I just give up lah.
True.
I give up, then I don't need to put in effort, then I don't need to do it, then I cut my misery, but why don't give up? But if you tell the person, you tahan now, you don't give up, tomorrow you reach the place, then they know, oh okay, I don't give up now because I'm going to reach the place tomorrow. I'm going to do this tomorrow, I'm going to reach that place. Then they realize that, oh okay. So I think like learn to sieve out the blind positiveness in your life also,
the blind belief, right?
and to really talk to people. Like sometimes tough love is not in it. Like, I realize that I'm a person that I need tough love. I need somebody to tell me that, hey, you suck at this, you really suck at this. But this is very important for you. So if you work on this, next time you can achieve the thing that you wanted. Then I was like, oh, okay, that's true. Then I will think, oh, okay. Then subconsciously, I will plant a seed in the back of my mind and tell myself that I need to work on this because this is important to me. I want it, so I will work on it.
Actually, talking about blind belief, it fully resonates with me as well because, I fully agree with like it. To me, just going by the route of like don't give up, this kind of thing doesn't work for me. Like at least for myself, I spend more time figuring out a very classic, but to me it's a very important question, which is why do I want to actually do something? Which is something that I feel that is very hazy, very clouded, and it's a one-word question, but many of us, because it's so blurry that after a certain point of time we just actually shove it to the back, and then we just continue to do whatever we want to do without actually knowing the why. In fact, something that I always tell myself, and something that I'm starting to actually make a bit more sense, at least for myself, is that it's okay for your why to always change, kind of, because we change. What we want in life can change, but to be able to anchor or continuously try to anchor yourself to whatever you are doing, to be as close as to your why, to me that's actually very important. And that will actually give you the strength to push through, precisely give you the very solid reason why you shouldn't actually be giving up.
Yeah, I think when like for me, how I can relate to that is whenever a colleague in the industry, in my company, is not doing well, either that person themselves ask me like whether I got anything to talk to them about it, or when like their manager comes to talk to me about it, I always tell them we must always identify their whys. Why they are in this industry, why would they want to stay in this industry, why would they want to do something that is zero basic pay, like why? And this why is separated into two kind of why, the painful why and the happy why. So the happy why can be, oh, if I succeed in this industry, I get to bring my mom on the incentive trip next year. The painful why can be, oh, if I don't succeed in this industry, I cannot pay my scholarship, my what is it called? Or my study loans, my tuition fees by when I graduate, and I will graduate with a debt. And so it's always a happy why and a painful why. So it's up to them. Even simple things like diet plans for weddings. If I don't manage to lose X amount of weight, I cannot wear this tuxedo that I want to wear on my wedding day because that's the only size that's available. Happy why can be, oh, if I manage to lose this amount of weight, I can wear my kabaya that I used to be a stewardess that I can wear for my wedding photo shoot. So it's always a happy why and a sad why, but people have to know why.
Right.
You have to know why they want this, why they want to do this. See, all the famous smart people in the world, they are always focused on why. Why do things work this way? Why I want to invent this thing? Why? Everything is about why.
But it's very tough to actually figure it out. Like, that's why I still spend a lot of time. But one thing that's actually very scary, at least from my experience, is that I'm a very I used to be a guy who actually needs a very solid direction. Like back to just now what I mentioned. So like because I know how important my why is. If my why is still unclear, I will actually hold myself from doing, which is actually counterproductive because you will never know your why when you actually don't do that. But because we all have our own fears, like what if you actually are taking the wrong steps and things like that, and then you're actually kind of like wasting time on figuring out your why and things like that. So I used to be that kind of person, and which is why it is actually very difficult. But one should never, to me, I feel, in life, always spend more time as you are doing. Action has to actually be part of it. To always still continue to figure out your why?
I think most people don't understand that mistakes are actually lessons in disguise. So a lot of us, we see mistakes as a bad thing.
Yeah, I think ego has a lot to actually play.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what you
Because
actually mentioned.
one thing is ego, one thing is just simply what we were taught when growing up. Like a mistake is something that we should avoid. A mistake is something that is a no-no. A mistake is something that is bad, you know. But actually, if there's one thing that I realized over the past few years is that all those mistakes are a lesson to prep me to be better in the next round. You know, when martial artist loses a fight, do they give up on their career? No. They learn and say, oh, what did they miss out on this fight? Then they learn how to strategize for their next fight. They don't start from zero again, they start with experience. And that's something that people must understand that mistakes are not necessarily good, but mistakes can do you good if you use it in the right way.
Cool. So, we're still in the early part of 2020. In fact, January is still not over yet, so I think it's very apt to ask this question. What does living the best year of your life look like to you right now?
Living the best year of my life means I can wake up at whatever time I want, means I can decide on my day, on the day itself.
Okay.
Like I can wake up and decide I'm gonna go to Korea because I feel like it, because I realize that if I go there, I can possibly get some inspiration for something new or something else. Of course, it's hard to say, it's hard to achieve this kind of level because there is always some form of planning and scheduling in life, because when you reach a certain point of career success, you are responsible for other people's career success as well, because you want to pass on the knowledge, you want to pass on the success. Success doesn't come by like a day or a phase or 1 year. Success is about keeping the win, you know, and like you can work hard for a year and you win for that year, but if only you are being consistent in doing something, then you deserve to keep the thing for more than a year. So I think that's something that most of us want, but we don't know. Most of us just think about that winning for that one time, but nobody thinks about winning consistently and like being able to keep on doing and finding new ways to continue to win is something that determines you deserving of keeping the win, you know. So I think like a successful year to me is really to be happier. I don't think it's a lot about money or anything. Of course, I must have enough money to not be sad because I cannot keep up my lifestyle. Like if I want to eat as many expensive plates at Yankee Sushi, I can. If I want to eat lobster ramen anytime, I can. If I want to buy whiskey at any price, I can, you know. Yeah, it's not about a simple thing. Just imagine, like, take for example whiskey. Imagine if it's your birthday, we both see this bottle of whiskey that both of us really like, but at the back of my head I'm like, this bottle costs $500. I only have $1,500. If I spend $500, it's like 1/3 of my money gone. But then again, if I buy this bottle, it's gonna be really happy. But if you don't buy this bottle, I'm sure that you wouldn't be unhappy, but we wouldn't be happy. So I want it to be on a term where I don't care if it's $500 bottle, just because it makes us happy, and I'm okay with spending that money. It's not about buying $500 because like you will think, wow, CB will say this guy can buy $500, but because like we enjoy this bottle of $500, so it doesn't matter if it's $500 or $1,000. Like I have the ability to give us the happiness, you know. So I think like it's really being able to do whatever you want whenever you want. Yeah, and yeah, we can drink the bottle in t-shirt and shorts for all I care, but so long as we're happy, then yeah, that's about it.
As long as we keep our pants on. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next round would be a couple of kind of like a lightning-ish kind of questions.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna shoot the questions because I actually know some of kind of like, you know, but I just want to see how you actually kind of like answer them.
Okay.
Because I know Jay is actually very into tech. First question would be your favorite piece of tech the past decade.
Favorite piece of tech the past decade? So that's 2010. Arguably 2010 and 19. Favorite piece of tech.
See, he takes this very seriously. He's a very tech person.
Wow, this is a tough question, man.
Yeah.
Every piece of tech is my favorite piece of tech. Okay. If I were to say, okay, I'm just gonna judge this by how long I've held on to a single piece of device. I held on to my Microsoft Windows Surface Pro 3 up to today.
I remember that. Yeah.
Up to today.
Why? Like how is it your favorite?
I think tech is very personal.
Okay.
Yeah, it fulfills all my needs and it didn't spoil, so I'm still holding on to it. But then again, it's not fair to say that, because like I've had phones that I'm very satisfied with, but because the newer version came out, so of course I will spend to get a newer version, because like I don't use my laptop like every day, but I use my phone every hour.
Yeah.
This is a tough question.
And you love like the tech stuff.
Yeah, I love it that it's ever evolving, ever pushing the boundaries, and there's new stuff coming out, so yeah.
Nice. Okay, second, most memorable whiskey.
Most memorable whiskey, I remember Bar High Five in Tokyo. Chichibu Distillery, I remember it was a...
Do you remember what's the...
Wow, I don't remember, but I remember the taste of it.
Yeah.
I remember the smell of it. I remember the feel of it. I just remember like I was too caught up in the taste in the taste of it to remember the bottle. I took a picture of it. Yeah, but
It's a very nice bottle.
yeah, but very very clearly that Chichibu Distillery.
Everybody wants to know the address. Hit him up.
Bar High Five. Bar High Five.
Okay, this one actually, I prepared this question, but I'm not really sure whether you are actually into it or not. But I'm just gonna ask because that's pretty much the popular culture right now.
Okay.
Bubble tea, are you into the hype?
I wouldn't say I'm into the hype. Like I would definitely not rush down to the newest bubble tea shop that opened in Singapore and queue for like 1 hour.
Right.
Like I would not queue for bubble tea, not at all. If I see a bubble tea, even if it's my favorite bubble tea shop, I see got queue, I'm not buying.
But you drink bubble tea, right?
I do drink bubble tea,
for
but I
context.
only...
Because I don't. Yeah.
But my only usual choice is milk tea.
Okay.
Not because I like bubble tea, but I like milk tea. So even when I drink bubble tea, I drink it without the bubble. Like I just want milk tea.
Follow-up question would be, are you into the very adventurous creations of bubble tea?
No. Nope.
Like what, bubble tea pizza?
Nope.
Keep my pizza the way it is.
Nope. Like I can live with pineapple on my pizza, but I cannot live with bubbles on my pizza. What the fuck is that? Stay in the cup, man.
That was a similar answer to that. If you haven't watched the episode, haven't listened to the episode, you can go back to the other one.
Nope. Can't do that.
Okay. Are you okay? Next question. You are a frequent visitor at Don Don Donki. What's your best buy at Don Don Donki?
So many again. Best buy.
First thing that comes to your mind, maybe?
The first thing that comes to my mind about Don Don Donki is actually the salmon mentai aburi sushi. It's not the best or my go-to aburi sushi in Singapore. Salmon mentai aburi, my go-to is Genki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure, hands down it's Genki. But like, there are several things that Charlotte and I always buy at Don Don Donki, like the standard stuff. Like we will buy the crab kani, the real one, not the fake one, the crab kani. We will buy salmon aburi sushi. We will buy the instant miso soup. Then there is also this Japanese iced lemon tea that we like, that we discovered on the trip with you to Japan.
Japanese iced lemon tea.
Is the one with the yellow packaging one. I think it's also by what distillery, what company is that?
Suntory.
I think it's by Suntory. I think it's by Suntory. But we always buy a lemon tea because it's not too sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what do we buy?
But topmost will be the salmon mentaiko.
I don't know why that, but I just think about salmon mentaiko with sushi.
Okay. Okay, last one, I actually asked this question to Leslie as well, but I would love to have your take on it. Living a month without a smartphone. Would you live a month without a smartphone or live a month without social media?
I live a month without social media.
Okay.
Live a month without social media, man. Fuck social media. Live a month without social media, that's for sure.
Without hesitating.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Why?
I don't think social media is a need in my life. Right as of now, I would say I'm guilty of using browsing social media a lot, and I don't watch the news, so social media keeps me up to date with my friends' life, with social affairs, pretty much of them. But I don't think it's a need. There are other ways for me to get to what I want. Not so easy, not so lazy, but I still can get it. And I don't think that social media is 100% good for everybody. I still think that social media is a double-edged sword. Like the good thing about it is that we can keep in touch. But if we keep in touch on social media and we don't keep in touch in real life, then there is no real benefit of social media.
That's true.
It's supposed to keep you in relation. Like it's not supposed to be somebody see us filming on social media. Then like, oh, okay, these two guys are filming. Oh, good for them, and bye. Then there is no follow up from there. But if say Leslie sees that both of us are shooting, then he's like, hey, shooting together. Then he's like, hey, why not meet up soon? I haven't seen you guys for a long time. It reminds people that these people exist in our life because there's so many people that we know, especially as we are growing up. But if it reminds you people that you haven't seen in a long time and you go out in the physical world to talk to them or drop them even a WhatsApp message, that's good enough. But if it gives you an excuse not to meet people just because that you know what they're doing on their digital life, then that's a bad thing because that person might be suffering for all you know.
Correct.
Might need
a
physical meetup for all you know. But just because you conveniently this person is doing well, okay, then
makes sense.
Then that's not good. But like,
I always feel that social media should be a thing that we leverage on to be even more connected with other people, rather than just taking the connection itself for granted.
But social media is also good for us to put out certain things in an expedited way. Like it can be used in our career to let people know more about financial literacy. It can be used on social media to let my clients know about the newest promotions that's going on, the newest products going on. So that is a good thing, rather than it's a bad thing. But if you were to say to choose living without my smartphone or without social media, of course social media, man, I can't live without my smartphone.
Okay, cool. All right, parting shots. For after all these deep combo, most of the time I'm actually asking you questions and things like that. But let's turn the table the other way around. Parting shots, you get to ask me as well as the audience, the listeners, a question. Go.
That's a tough question. I have so many questions to ask everybody.
Just one. You ask me, I'll answer, and then they will actually, from the Spotify or Apple Podcasts or even on YouTube or even wherever they can actually put down their comments.
Wow, to pick out one question, that's very hard. I think if I were to ask you a question
to get more insights,
To me, it would be how do you determine if this certain whatever thing that you do is really something that you love and want to put your heart to it, or is it something that you are doing because you feel that you have to do it? Because there are so many things that we are doing on a daily basis that we might think that it makes us happy, but actually we are doing it because like it makes your mom happy, like it's social norm, or like me last time, you're just there because of an identity. But last time I thought that I was very happy doing that. Like, so how do you guys actually identify things that makes you happy or improve yourself on a daily basis, and do you guys even keep mindful about these things because nowadays I do.
Great question.
Nowadays I really, like, even downright to going for a party, I will really think, am I really going to this party because I want to hang out with this person and I get to hang out with this person, or I'm just there because I don't want to look like the antisocial guy? Yeah,
great question. I actually keep myself, really grounded on this particular thing, because it's also a very important question to me. Like, even like an example about asking, like going to a party, or basically going to a place where you actually get to meet someone. Like, coming from a sales career and things like that, like last time I would think that if I were to actually go to this place, if I know this person, is it someone that I can actually connect with as a potential business partner? But now I don't do that, because I want to keep myself grounded to really know this person for who he is. Or even when I'm actually doing social media, like, of course you actually heard about where people do things for the sake of, like, social validation, basically, whether it's actually in the form of like likes or comments or shares and things like that. But now I always ask myself, like, even for this podcast, is like, what am I trying to ultimately build? And that is, for me, because I have the hypothesis, at least for this podcast, is that we all have our own passionate stories to tell, and all these stories, right, are actually, we are just like normal everyday people. A lot of people feel that success is actually very far and very distant, and it's only those select few that can actually enjoy the taste of it. But my hypothesis is that we have little successes, big or small forms in life, and it's in the people that we are with every single day, and the lessons are there. And that's what I want to actually build, is this body of work whereby I can actually collate all these stories, and hopefully it just multiply and kind of like inspire just anybody out there. So to me, that's just that. And it's also like really my training ground, where it trains me to be a better listener, a person who can actually empathize more with people and ask better questions, listen better, kind of thing. But how would you answer that question? So all right, before we actually end off the podcast, where can they find you, Jay? Where are you most active on social medias right now?
I'm most active on my Instagram, actually. Not so active, but I'm most active there.
Okay.
So you can put the link in the description below. Right?
That will be in the video, but I'll actually put it in the...
Oh, right. Okay, if you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at jjunjie_.
You can find his semi-vain photos.
Actually, most of the time, the beautiful photos are taken by my girlfriend. Then she will ask me to go there and post. Then I very unwillingly go there and post. Then after I take already, then I realize, actually the photo damn chill. Then I will post. So my Instagram is JAYJUNJIE_ on Instagram. So
Are you on other platforms?
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube. On YouTube, I have this tech channel that I do whenever I'm not feeling lazy. So that's +65SG. So you have to spell out, no symbols, no numerals, you just spell out PLUSSIXFIVESG.
Cool. Thanks so much for doing the podcast, bro.
We are just recording another of our conversation, actually.
Yeah, actually.
This time with the camera, we always talk like that.
We've always wanted to actually do something together, because we always realized that in our previous conversations, like, while we actually say so many things that if only it's actually recorded, documented down.
If only we can share it, the things that we talk about on a daily basis, that would be good.
And now we've finally done it, so that's great. Alright, see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Bye-bye.